The Royals sweep the Seattle Mariners up in the Pacific Northwest, complete a 4-2 road trip and a 7-2 stretch against the AL West. Really nice, series up there. I'm Joel Penfield. This is the KCSN Live Royals postgame show. Kevin O'Brien joining me tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I mean, the Royals 4-2 road trip. They're 4 games now under 500. A big sweep over a good team in the Seattle Mariners that's had their number at T-Mobile Park in Seattle the last couple years. I mean, I think right now it's we had that horrendous road trips a couple weeks ago in Detroit and New York, and now we're back in this thing coming up against a big homestand where we have Cleveland and Detroit coming up. So right now, a week ago, we were kind of saying, okay, good homestand, but what's it going to look like when they hit the road? We know their road woes, and they answered a lot of those questions and a lot of those doubters this week, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you can look at it now, just even you're sure 15-19 at this juncture is still not great, but they pulled themselves out and gotten off the mat a little bit. They're only 2.5 back of the division right now, which I think says more about the state of the AL Central and the American League in general than the Royals. But it just goes to show like they're not out of it by any stretch. And then if you look at the wild card as well, you're a game and a half out of a wild card spot right now, which again, I think says a lot about the state of the American League, which gives you optimism that if they can get off the mat here and string some more stretches like this together over the next month, they're going to give themselves an opportunity. It's not as dire as it looked a couple of weeks ago. Amazing what winning, and being able to string wins together has done for this team. And, they had the 4-game win streak. They dropped those games in Sacramento. The one on Thursday stings particularly because you felt like there were a ton of missed opportunities in that game. But you find a way on Friday. You pull it out of the fire at the very end. Then you really pull it out of the fire on Saturday. And we'll talk about those 2 games, I'm sure, on the other side of the break. We'll talk about this game today. But winning is infectious, and they're on now the other side of these games that they dropped earlier in the season that, are kind of go either way games. They're finding ways to win those now. And we're seeing the wins start to follow suit with it. And it seems like the team has started trending in another direction. They've won 7 of their last 10 games.
Yeah, and I think we've seen a lot of the maligned guys, right? The maligned positions going into this road trip have really had really solid road trips this week. I mean, you look at Isaac Collins, who hadn't had a hit during this whole hit on the road at all. He hit 250 on this road trip. Not great with a 683 OPS, but at the end of the day, where he was on the road prior to this road trip, that's progress.
And the home road splits are crazy for him.
Yes.
Like, he loves hitting at Kaufman, has been awful everywhere else.
Yeah, it really is. And now we're coming back, for Cleveland and Detroit. And
Yep.
he's had a positive series against Seattle. I mean, you got to feel like, okay, now he's hitting his stride. He's starting to become the player that we all expected him to be when he was acquired from Milwaukee. And then you look at the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen right now, again, Lucas Erceg nailing down the saves on back-to-back games. You look at Daniel Lynch, had a tough one where he gave up that homer on Friday, bounced back today with a 4-out save. It looks like the guy. I mean, Matt Stram looking really good. It just looks like the bullpen is coming together. And we don't have Carlos Estevez back, and now it sounds like he's going to be on a rehab assignment. That adds a little bit more depth to the bullpen. We saw Luinder Avila come back and just throw in straight gas on Saturday.
I want to talk about him more later because my God, that was insane. There's so much to talk about with this series. I think this was, if we look back in 6 weeks and the Royals have gotten themselves out there above 500 and are playing really good baseball, I think this is probably the circle the calendar sort of moment for this team where pitching, defense, clutch hitting all came together for them and kept them in the series. And they found a way to win some really close, tightly contested games on the road where they had struggled to begin this season and they had struggled previously on the road trip, losing 2 or 3 to the A's. So they're putting themselves in position here. For today, like, this was the most uneventful game of the 2. You get 3 in the 4th inning, and it was not the way you draw it up, but they got a crooked number, which this team has struggled with in various areas, especially with runners in scoring position. They've done a great job getting on, getting a run home, but it's like, man, they really had a chance to get 2 or 3, and they didn't. This time they come through with it. Bobby and Vinny single. And by the way, Vinny's hitting the ball a heck of a lot better on this road, and especially up in Seattle. And then Salvi gets hit by a pitch, bases loaded, nobody out. And Carter, who, to put it as nicely as I can, was a disaster on the road trip. Like he is searching right now, big time. And I wonder, like, okay, how slow's the heartbeat? You know, can he work the plate appearance that we know he's capable of doing? And sure enough, he works a bases loaded walk. When I thought 3, and he was down 1-2, works it back full and ends up working the walk after spoiling a couple really good pitches from Luis Castillo. Thought, okay, that's, you know, that his eye is still there. That is much better. And he walked twice in this game as well. Hopefully that's a sign that he's starting to see it a little bit better in this series. Not necessarily the best at bat from Jack, but he put a ball in play and gave a hard 90 to avoid a double play, which was the mistake he made a couple weeks ago against the Orioles, where hit a ball, had an opportunity to probably try and, you know, prevent a double play, doesn't give a hard 90. That time he did, and it forced just the 1 out, run scores, you got the lead. And then Isaac Collins hits the sac fly, and shout out to Salvador Perez, turning back the clock a little bit with a little bit of speed, turning it back to 2011 Salvi running down the line, and a great slide. Like he would not have scored if he didn't swim, move a little bit, get around the tag from Pareda. And that was a significant moment in that game, because at 2-1 with the bases, you know, with 1 out, you get a sack, you know, instead of a sack fly, you're thrown out at home. 2-1, all your momentum is cooked. And who knows where the game goes from that point. So that was the moment in the game where he felt like they were going to be able to figure it out. And then Bubic goes and gets 2 strikeouts in the next inning and shut it down. Mariners only got the 1 run. So the 4th inning was the difference in the game. It didn't end there, but you felt like that was where the Royals really took control by getting the crooked number and then shutting it down in the 4th.
Yeah, they really did. And one of the things is, you know, the Royals, you know, they did a good job today, and I think this was pretty indicative on the road trip, was, you know, they're hitting the ball hard. I mean, they had 16 hard hit balls compared to the Mariners 8 today. I mean, it's like, they didn't have any. They only had 1 double, which was Isaac Collins. But again, you had guys that were out there seeing Castillo and having a good approach, especially after those first couple innings. And we're kind of seeing that right now with the Royals. Is one of the big issues they've had is they face a pitcher, they have a plan, they go through the order once or twice, and then they kind of get out of that plan. And we didn't see that happen today or a lot on this road trip. They stayed in their plan. They didn't panic. You saw a great at-bat from Carter, hit 063 with a 181 OPS this road trip. It's one that he'd like to forget. But, again, draws a key walk when they need it. Jack Caglione putting the ball in play. A lot of things that we've kind of didn't see in the previous road trip or at the beginning of the year are starting to happen. And that's a sign that, hey, this team is starting to come together and is starting to gel a little bit offensively, which is a good sign going forward. I know we love to see avoid the slow starts, but their team is now playing where they need to be, and that's good when you hit this time of the year.
Yeah, and to go to Chris Bubic as well, I mean, he didn't have the crazy swing and miss or CSW numbers. It was like 29% was called strike whiff, but workmanlike, efficient, 7 innings, 4 hits, just the 1 earned run there in the 3rd. He kept the walks down, which has killed him. It was a big reason why he didn't make it that far in the game on Tuesday in Sacramento. 7 strikeouts, didn't give up a crooked number. And he only gave up, I believe, the 1 run in the other game as well. But again, he only gets through 5. This time he gets through 7. Saves the bullpen. Schreiber gives you 2/3, and then shout out to Daniel Lynch. Gives you an inning and a 1/3 with 3 punchies. And I mean, he looked dominant. And to come into that spot of, you know, with 1 run on, you know, it's not as the tying runs on deck, so it's not like you're a super high leverage situation. But late game, few outs left, he comes up and faces Naylor and just, I mean, annihilated him. It had him down bad so much that a very, very clear strike got challenged, 1-1, and then he swung at a slider in the dirt. That's it. And then he gets a strikeout, a ground out, and strikeout to end it. And I saw Alex Lang. It looked like he was walking from the ball down, and Jack Johnson, some others were like, oh boy, this is going to be real interesting. He's either going to retire the side on 15 pitches or this is going to be a nightmare. But then it was, oh, hey, Daniel Lynch is back out there, and he shut it down. Lucas Ursig, I believe, over the last week and a half has quieted the Daniel Lynch. Someone else needs to be in the closer role. This looks much more like the Lucas Ursig of the last couple of years. But Daniel Lynch is continuing to prove he can be relied on in these situations. I know what Friday night happened. That was going to happen at some point this year. It just happened to be in a 6-4 game, and he threw a fastball down the middle to one of the best hitters in the league. It happens. Mistakes happen, but he bounced back from it. Didn't let it affect him. Didn't let the last outing lead to another bad outing, and looked much more like the guy that we've seen throughout 2026. I couldn't have been more wrong about a guy to begin the season with what he's been this first month plus of the year.
Yeah, Lynch has been great. I mean, again, he gave up that home run, but again, this week he had five strikeouts in 3.1 innings. So that's still pretty solid. Lucas Ursig, yeah, go ahead.
No, Daniel Lynch was not a strikeout guy last year.
No.
Like it was not in his bag at all. It was not enough strikeouts and too many walks. And this year he's striking out over a batter per inning. And I don't think he's walked anyone since the rain game against the Guardians, if I recall. So that's the most significant part of this, is that the strikeouts are now there and he's not walking anybody. I mean, it's amazing yes, I understand caveman-like thinking, strike out more, walk less, obviously. But for his stuff to now play up a little bit to get the strikeouts is significant.
I totally agree. And you look at what Ursig did this week: 3 outings, 3 saves, 4 strikeouts, had 1 walk, 1 hit allowed, no runs allowed. And then Matt Strahm too. You look at him: 3 outings, 2 hits allowed in 3 innings, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. Again, the bullpen's really had a good week. They needed a good week.
Mears had the 9th inning on Tuesday to get it to extras, and then he had I believe it was a tie game outing on Friday that he was able to get it to the next guy. So it seems like it's all starting to work a little bit. We're seeing less John Schreiber and high leverage. They needed it today just because of the way the bullpen had been used the previous 2 days. But you're seeing the grouping now. And then if you add in a potential Carlos Estevez, I still don't know what that's going to look like. They seem optimistic. But if he is closer to 95, 96, if that's still in the tank, it changes the calculus on how we view the bullpen moving forward, if he's closer to the guy that he was last year from a velocity perspective.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We don't really need him to be closing innings. I mean, right now, if Lucas Ursig right now looks like he did going through the rest of the year, like he did this week, well, Carlos Estevez can be a setup guy. Carlos Estevez can be a guy that can get a save when Lucas Ursig needs a night off. I mean, right now, it's just there's some good chemistry going on. Estevez is only going to add depth. And even if he's not the elite closer that he was last year, you might not need him to be. You just need another arm in the bullpen that's going to give you some reliability.
Yeah, and I mean, for Lucas Ursig, I'm looking at this, and I'm sure we'll get into this when we talk about the previous 2 games here in a little bit. But the whiff and the chase for him were both, I think, first percentile a week and a half ago. And it's still not great. Like, I'm not trying to sunshine pump too hard, but the chase is now up to 23%. It's up from 1st to 8th, and then the whiff is up from 1st to 18th. So it is not where it should be, not where it needs to be, but it's trending in the right direction. And that is noticeable with the way that he's pitched this last week and a half. The walks he's starting to cut out. The strikeouts are getting there more. He was dominant on Friday night and on Saturday night. And to be that dominant with the placed runner in the 10th inning was noteworthy to me. That he didn't, and that's the only run he's allowed since the game, the notorious game against the Orioles 2 Mondays ago. So it seems like this is starting to get to a point where Lucas Ursig looks much more like the guy that the Royals acquired at the end of 2024, and we saw in flashes in 25. He's able to sustain this. It changes a ton for how we view these games, and it's not just spinning a wheel and praying. Like the 9th inning, they play bamboo by E40 and the game is over. Like it seems like we're starting to trend in that direction with Lucas Ursig. If this week was any indication.
Yeah, you look at what he did this week, especially in Seattle. 33.3% CSW on May 1st, 35.3 CSW on May 2nd. I mean, that's huge. I mean, the fact that he's getting the called and the swinging strikes, that was something he was not doing at the beginning of the year. I mean, if you look at where he was in that blow up in that one outing against Baltimore, right? Well, he had 3 walks, 18.8 CSW. So it's, again, these are good things right now. Right now, things are trending in the right direction, and you're coming home to where you've been a good team. That's only going to mean good things or positive things, you hope.
Was him dropping an F-bomb on the Royals broadcast the turning point of the season? We'll find out, but we can hope. We got to take our break. We'll be right back. We'll hit on any other final thoughts on the game today, and then talk about these last 2 games. There are wins. I want to talk about wins as much as we possibly can. We'll do that right on the other side of this break.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others, and not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
David Starnes Allstate Insurance is a proud partner of KC Sports Network, serving the Kansas City area and all throughout the Midwest. If you are looking for new coverage or something that better suits your home, auto, health, or any of your other insurance needs, give Dave and his team a call. Elevate your coverage and be worry-free with David Starnes Allstate Insurance.
Be sure to like and subscribe, everyone. We do appreciate those hanging out with us here on YouTube on a Sunday evening. You'll listen to this on the audio side later on your drive to work on Monday. We do appreciate that as well. Please leave us a 5-star review. Helps the channel grow, helps more people see this as the Royals are trending up. Seems like things are heading in the right direction for this team. Let's go back to Friday night, the Apple TV game. They blitzed Brian Wu in that first inning, which I did not see coming. Brian Wu is probably my favorite watch in the league for pitchers because he's going to throw you a fastball. You know he's going to throw you a fastball. Everybody knows he's going to throw you a fastball, and then for the most part, people can't hit it. They got to him early in this game, and it's a very unique fastball that the Royals struggle with. It's like Joe Ryan-ish, that sort of low release point that spins and rides at the top of the zone. They had it working in that first inning. 3 straight singles and then Salvi doubles, and before you know it, it's 3-0. You're like, holy crap, what's going on here? Collins finishes the inning with a double, and it's 4-0. You give that lead to Cole, and then Cole just he wasn't able to capitalize on the outing that he had against the Angels earlier this week. Still got the strikeouts up, doesn't make it through 6. Gave up 3 homers. The home runs are killing him this year. That's the thing that I thought. Oh, he's never really been a big home run guy, but even in his Cy Young adjacent year in 24, like the home runs didn't really kill him. They killed him last year, and they're killing him this year. Some of it is he throws a high spin, high vert fastball at the top of the zone. When that doesn't get above the zone, and it's right there. I mean, it's a cookie. It's right there. He also threw an absolutely horrific hanging changeup to Julio Rodriguez in that first inning, but still, I mean, he kept the Royals in the game for the most part. I mean, it was not, again, I'm not going to sit here and try and sugarcoat it. It was not a great outing. I think it may just be Cole just isn't as consistent as he once was. I think that's fair to say at this point, given what we've seen this year. But the strikeouts seem like they're coming back for him, which is good. And hopefully some of the pitch efficiency stuff that he was able to figure out in that Angel start continues to go. I will say, though, he has figured something out with the velocity. Like he has been able to maintain the velocity. He did not. It wasn't quite what it was in the Angels start, but there were still some 6s and 7s into the 6th inning of that game, which is a good sign that A, he's healthy, and B, he's able to maintain that. And 97 at the top of the zone is very different than 94 or 93. So I'll go with that there. Did you have any thoughts on Cole or the beginning of this one?
Yeah, I mean, one of the starts I saw Brian Wu start on April 25th against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals
He got whacked around then too.
He really did. The Cardinals kind of had a plan of like, we're going to go after his stuff early. We're going to go after his pitches early. And the Royals kind of borrowed from that playbook and they kind of went after it early. And so I kind of give kudos, as much as we want to criticize the hitting coaches and all those kind of things. I mean, that was a good game plan. I mean, Brian Wu was showed some flaws against St. Louis. They saw what worked for the Cardinals and they kind of replicated that. And that really helped. And as far as Cole Reagans, I think he's still a very good starter. I think he's a guy that the Royals can depend on. I just wonder if maybe 2024 was maybe the peak for him. I
think that's totally fair to think at this point.
Because you're right. Like the home runs have really gone up the last couple of years. The barrels have gone up, and like you said, it just seems like he's making those mistakes in the zone, just a lot more than he's normally has, especially when he's on the road. And the thing is, he still gets strikeouts. The velocity's still there, so he's still a good pitcher. I think a lot of 29 other teams would like him at the top of their rotation or at number 2.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh, this is terrible. And you see what's going on with some of the aces around the league. You got Garrett Crochet on the IL right now. So it's like the Royals have to be happy right now, knock on wood, that Reagans is at least throwing innings. But I think it's right now where it got to that point where it's like, I don't know if he's going to be that Cy Young self anymore, but that's not a bad thing. But we just have to temper our expectations going forward with this guy.
Yeah, 100%. Go to the 6th inning. Wu's still in the game. And Vinny comes up 2-0. And good night, Vienna. He crushed a fastball. I knew it. Bought himself a 2-0 heater. And he hit it off the Hit It Here Cafe. That's a hard thing to do in that ballpark, to go up and hit that scoreboard and that second deck. Like I watched a lot of baseball games at that stadium. My goodness, that was Vinny's best swing of the year by far. I just annihilated a pitch, and then 2 batters later, Jack comes up and hit a ball 107 and hit it over the fence. He hit that thing. I thought it was a routine pop-up, and it just kept going. I mean, that's the freakish power that Jack possesses, and now we talked about how. Sure, the ground ball rate's probably still a little higher than you'd like, but the chase is starting to go away relative to where it was last year. Sure, the strikeouts are there. That's always going to be something that he's going to have to mitigate, but he's seeing more pitches in the zone. He's doing a better job with selectivity. He's barreling the ball more. He's using the big part of the field when he has to. And then now he's starting to be able to turn and burn on pitches, which he did that Angels game last Sunday and then he did yesterday. So it's really starting to come together for Jack, and we'll talk about the at-bat that he had on Saturday in a little while, because I think that is another, again, kind of indicative of where he's trending. But that inning was awesome. It gave him the lead. Obviously, they gave it right back, but just to be able to get leads with homers and the power is significant for this team.
Right, and I think that's why you have a guy like Jack in the batting order. And again, we'll see what his ceiling eventually looks like. But at the very least, we know a guy he can get on base. He might not hit for the highest average all the time, but you keep him because of that big fly potential. And I think another thing to really harp on is with Vinny just having a great road trip. 375 or 353 batting average this week, 977 OPS and 17 at-bats this week. Kind of really what he needed, especially he's dug himself such a huge hole at the beginning of the year, him showing some of that power, even the ones that he didn't get out of the park. I mean, there was a lot of foul balls today that could have been home runs. He's seeing the ball well, and that's yes. The good thing about Vinny right now. They really need him to see the ball well because he's their 3-hitter. We've talked about do we need to mix it up? Do we need to move Jensen? Do we need to move Kaggs? Well, we've seen what Vinny can do right now in the spot, so he's got to stay in that spot. So it's good to see him pull together a little bit, and hopefully we can. This is May Vinny on is kind of what we need to get back in this postseason race.
Vinny Pasquantino is Barry Bonds. I will hear no other arguments. But to go back to Jack for just a minute, he had a really rough 2 games in Sacramento where he was 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts, and it was some of the rookie Jack ugly strikeouts. For him to flip the page turn and have a short-term memory. I mean, that's one of the biggest things in baseball is being able to have a short-term memory. You could tell that some of those strikeouts and some of the poor stuff lingered with him last year, just between the years. And that's totally fair when you legitimately fail at something you've been awesome at for your entire life for the first time. But for him to turn the page and have the game that he did and have the game that he did on Saturday is indicative that between the ears, he's starting to get it figured out, which is one of the biggest parts of this, considering all of the changes he's had to make to his approach and the way he views the game at the plate. I mean, it's a really big deal. Now, to stick with Jack for a second, I don't know if you heard like a tapping noise around Kansas City around the 8th inning during that game. It was everyone deleting their tweets when Lane Thomas came in to pinch hit for Jack. And then he came through, like everyone was ready with their pitchforks and their tweets and their all cap shit ready to go. And then Lane Thomas came through and he gets the hit. So listen, if you're going to sit there and you're going to kill Matt Quatraro for platoon decisions, the inverse of that is you have to give him credit when he gets it, he gets it right in the process and the results match. That's exactly what happened when Lane Thomas has come up. He has been what they have asked of him. Has it been stellar production? No. But is it exactly what they wanted from him? Yes. Hit left-handed pitching, get on base, and don't be a disaster in the field. Feel like he checks 2 of those 3 boxes most of the time. The defense, yeah, that's fair. I don't know if I necessarily need to see him in center field very often. But they don't have many other options outside of him or Kyle Isbell. But for him to come up in that spot, prove Q correct, and to give them the lead back in the 8th inning, I mean, that was huge. And I talked about it before the series with Nick on Thursday after the day game in Sacramento. This series is going to come down to which bullpen screws up less, because both have been sketchy and unreliable in various situations. I know the Mariners have like a top 5 bullpen ERA.
Right.
Listen, I watch a lot of Mariners baseball. That bullpen sucks.
Yeah.
No one likes it. And then the guy that they bring in Ferrer as a lefty, they brought him in to be a ground ball heavy reliable guy, and he gives up 3 hits and gives up the game in that spot. And that ultimately was the difference. Strum and Ursig lock it down after that, and you steal one when it was kind of getting late and it was tied. The Royals have been in this situation before, but now they've learned from all of those losses. It sucks when you have to learn from that, but now they are able to keep themselves in the game, and the bullpen is able to lock it down and find ways to win these games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I really thought this was a great series that Quatraro managed. And like you said, like if you're going to be on Twitter all the time and say, no, he sucks and he needs to be fired and blah, 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 blah. Well, you got to give him some credit. The Lane Thomas one was a great example of that. I mean, it's Thomas has been swinging a hot bat against lefties, and he came through with a big hit. And again, Quatraro didn't mix up the lineups all that much, right? I mean, he kind of stuck with a lot of the same
It was
guys.
It was the same starting lineup against righties all 3 games. Probably the first time all year we've seen the same lineup 3 consecutive games, I would venture to guess.
Right. So it's just like, okay, like what are people going to find to complain about this week? All right. And guess what? It ended up in a sweep. But again, it's all about the matchups. That's what Quatraro has preached ever since he came around. This week, he didn't play in the Mariners series, but Marte had a good series against the Ace with 3 hits. So I mean, right now guys are settling into their roles, and sometimes that takes time. You wish it would happen sooner, but sometimes it takes time for guys to settle into their roles. And I think we're starting to see that from this group in this most recent road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Saturday. No other way to describe it. Emerson Hancock shoved it up their ass for 7 innings. I mean, that was
yeah.
I sat back and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, this guy is it was one of those games where I don't care what lineup you throw out there. He probably was going to go and give you 7 innings of 1-run ball and 10+ strikeouts. Like, his stuff was just dancing all over the place. The arm slot change they made with him last year clearly has paid dividends. And I mean, he's been awesome to begin this year when he really has scuffled out the gate to begin his career. But 7 innings, scatter 6 hits, just a 1-run run, a Michael double, and 14 strikeouts. And this is not a team that really strikes out historically a lot. And again, that's why I kind of chalk it up to, I don't know if there's many teams that were hitting Emerson Hancock yesterday. That was I mean, if you're just a fan of the game itself, that was unbelievable to watch. And when you consider that Randy Johnson got his 51 retired and he's in the stands watching it, like Randy Johnson had a lot of 7-inning, 14 strikeout performances for the Mariners in the 90s. So a little bit of one of those performances from there. And so I do tip my cap because it was pretty unbelievable to watch.
And sometimes that is baseball, right? I mean, it's just like you can say like, oh, it's the hitter's fault or this and that and this and Zumwalt didn't have them prepped. I mean, Hancock was good. I mean, like you said, there's probably a bunch of other teams that would really struggle against what he was doing. He was, again, locating where he needed to locate it. The high fastball was working for him. The arm angle's been huge. And he's been good this year. I mean, he's got a 2.59 ERA. It's not like he's some chump that's just like, oh, he had a really good game, like a
without
Vicente
like
Palazzo
crazy expected number regression either. Like it's not like he's sitting there with a 4.5 expected and it's like, oh, okay. Like this is ridiculous. No, like this guy has been really, really good and it seems like he's finally settled into the big leagues.
Right. And you got to give credit to Seth Lugo for keeping them in it. I mean, it's like you have this generational performance going on from Emerson Hancock with Randy Johnson being retired in the house, and Seth Lugo keeps them in the game. And that's a characteristic of this team that, you know, earlier in the year, a guy gets 14 strikeouts. You're saying, okay, how much did they lose by? 5-6 runs? And they win the game, and they still got 8 hits. So, I mean, I think again, it's the competitiveness of this team and their ability to stick in it, even with a situation that 9 teams out of 10 would probably lose. It shows the kind of the character and the gumption and the just development we're seeing of this group over the past 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, Lugo gives you, again, it wasn't not anything crazy, a 23% called strike whiff. He only got 8 swings and misses on 103 pitches, but 6 innings, a 2-run ball, 6 strikeouts. You'll take that from Seth Lugo no matter how he gives it to you. Oh, and again, it kept him in the game. It's 2-1. You're right there. And once Hancock came out of that game, I was like, thank God. And I'm sure everyone in that Royals dugout, whether they want to admit it or not, was like internally going, oh, okay, now we go. And now it's a fight at the bat rack with this bullpen. Now Bizzardo gets him out of the 8th. Randy Rosarena, who's a horrific defender, made an awesome play on a sinking liner from Vinny. And then you go to the 9th. Andres Munoz, who has been one of the better closers in the league for a 3 or 4 year stretch now, has been terrible to begin this year. So I'm sitting there thinking, is tonight going to be another one of those nights, or is this going to be one where he strikes out the side on 11 pitches and no one can touch it? And Salvi comes up and singles, and it's like, all right, hey, now we go. Jensen strikes out, and then now we'll go back to Jack Caglione for a minute. And I go back to last season, and I know you'll remember the game. He comes up in a 1-run game, bases loaded, 1 out against the Dodgers. And he swings at the first pitch, ground ball, double play, game over. When everyone thought that was going to be his moment, right? Like the welcome to the big leagues for him. And he grounds to a double play, and everything kind of went to hell in a handbasket for most of the year, kind of after that fact. And now 2 times he's come up in the 9th inning in the last week, down 1 or down as the tying run, or as the tying or go ahead run, I guess I should say. And he comes through 2-run home run with 2 outs on Sunday. And then tonight, tying run on second, it was Lane Thomas, who advanced to second on a balk. Comes through and, I mean, smokes a ball to left center. Didn't try and hit a homer. Didn't try and do anything crazy. Get a ball into the outfield and scoring a run. And Julio just 5 holes it, and he gets to third. They're not able to get him in, unfortunately. But that, I think, is just so significant for the future for Jack, why I think his ceiling is so high. The dude has figured out the slow heartbeat in some of these big situations that he really struggled in a lot of last year. Not even 9th inning, but like 7th inning, tying run on first. You could tell he was antsy, that he was really just trying to force the issue. Seems like that's gone away now, and he's not trying to just dead pull a ball 115 miles an hour. Let's just get a ball there. And he still hit it 108 up the middle. 108.6. And knuckled it, and it gets by Julio, and now you put yourself in a position where the go-ahead runs on third with 1 out in the 9th inning. Just so impressive for him, just that another notch in the development for him as we go forward.
Yeah. Again, I thought, situational hitting from him in that spot, and just again, the team coming through in those spots as well. Like you said, Munoz hasn't been a good closer this year. I mean, and I think that kind of shows for anybody kind of complaining about the Royals bullpen. Closers have been kind of bad, other than like Mason Miller this year. Like, it's just a lot of teams are struggling to find what works in the bullpen. But again, I kind of agree with you, is that we're starting to see that maturity from Jack Caglione that is normal, right? I mean, it's like he did not have a lot of minor league time. We know that the minor leagues right now, especially if you're playing in Omaha, it's not always the best development, because it's like Werner Park is a bandbox and the pitching sucks, in AAA, and it's not going to get any better. So, I mean, Aaron Sanchez was on the mound, for Christ's sakes, for Omaha today. So it's like, it's like, this is what it is. So he has to have these experiences. And I think the Royals are treating him well, right? It's like, you don't want to bury him and just have him play every day and then let things fester. But you also have to give him regular at bats. And he got that against Seattle. They faced righties. Yeah. He played every day, so it's not like Q's messing with him. It's just, hey, like, we're going to find the best matchups. And right now, Jack is proving himself that, hey, I'm a guy that can hit regardless of matchups. And that's a good sign going forward about his ceiling.
Yep. Before we go to the 10th inning of this game, Luinder Avila probably deserves a big shout out. I'm just going to do my toast game by Holiday Distillery now for him, because it just confirms my priors that he's a reliever and he's an awesome one. And he kept them in that game. I mean, again, you hadn't gotten to the 9th yet, but he gets you into that 9th inning with an opportunity, because he gives you the 7th and the 8th. And my goodness, I mean, the sinker was dancing all over the place at 97 to 99. I clipped it. Go find it on Twitter. He threw a 99-mile-an-hour sinker to Josh Naylor that was in the zone for about 52 feet and just dove. I mean, the movement on the sinker was so late and so sharp. And he had the curveball working. He's throwing the slider now. He was throwing that for strikes and not just as a show-me pitch. I know they want this guy to start. I know they believe in him as a starter, and I'll say that over and over. This guy is showing you. He showed you at the end of last year. He showed you in Oakland, and he showed you here or in Sacramento. This guy can help your bullpen now. And you give him the 7th inning. You give Strahm the 8th. You give Ursig the 9th. If that is your best case scenario, you're going to win a hell of a lot of games. And the guy just, I don't know what more to say. Like, the data is starting to hit us in the face now. Like, it's right there that Luinder Avila has a chance to be an unreal electric reliever for this team.
I think that's a great one. I mean, I would say for my toast, I would definitely give it to Lucas Ursig, just because I just think that where this bullpen was, and the question, I mean, statistically, this bullpen has not looked great. I mean, and it's been near the bottom of the league for most of the year. And now we saw Lucas Ursig getting Ks, getting whiff, getting some chase, pumping 97. This is what the Royals got him for in 2024, and this is what carried them down the stretch in 2024 to not just making the playoffs, but getting a wild card victory over the Orioles and keeping them in the series against the Yankees. They need a Lucas Ursig that's going to be what he showed in Seattle for the remainder of the year. That's the bottom line. And so I got to give my toast to him, because a week or two ago, it looked like, oh man, is this it for Lucas Ursig? Has he really regressed, and is he just doesn't have it anymore? And he kind of showed us this week, especially in Seattle, that, hey, I still got something left in the tank. Yeah, I didn't start off well, but trust me, like, I'm feeling good, and let's roll. And that's a good feeling to see, especially for a Royals team that needs that bullpen help.
Absolutely. To the 10th on Saturday. Would you describe Michael Massey stealing third base as ballsy, gutsy, heady, any combination of the three? Because I'm watching that, and Kyle was trying to get down the bunt, for those that maybe didn't watch. And he misses.
Yeah.
The catcher has it, but the third baseman's charging and the shortstop's not there. Massey gets a secondary and just takes off. The catcher gets back to third, but there's no throw because the catcher's not back there in time. Somewhere between gutsy and heady, like he saw the third baseman charge, and there's nothing you're going to do. Very rarely are catcher's going to throw at a moving target going backwards to try and get a swipe tag. That's just flirting with disaster. But ultimately, that's the difference in the game because Michael Garcia comes up next batter, sac fly, bit of a shorter sac fly, but Michael gets in there and scores the run. That was certainly a sequence when this team sometimes has their moments on the mound or on the base pass where you're like, I haven't seen that since like 11U, like Little League. Like, what are we doing sometimes? That qualified, but it worked. So I'm not hard to complain when it works, man.
And that's a big thing in this series was it did feel like the Royals got some of those breaks that they haven't gotten before. And honestly, the breaks didn't go for the Mariners. I mean, one thing that really killed them was Randy Arozarena spacing out with
that was awful.
Thinking that there's a ball 4 and then him getting picked off and ending the inning. That again was a big part of the series. And it's when you have two even teams like that, you got to get lucky and you got to get the breaks, and the Royals got those breaks and the Mariners really didn't.
Yeah, that's the big. And then Ursa comes up in the 9th inning or in the 10th inning. And again, like a guy that hasn't gotten a lot of swing and miss or strikeouts, and he was getting in-zone whiffs. I mean, 97, 98. I mean, it didn't matter what it was. It was much more like the dude that we saw. And then obviously he has his viral interview moment. And I love the fact that he went from my adrenaline is so freaking high to then dropping an F-bomb 2 seconds later. He censored himself and then he didn't. I loved it.
Right.
But there is an element of that we're like, that's the fire people have wanted to see. Like too often people try and equate the way that Q, like the even keel, like kind of not relaxed, but like the, not the super high and low emotions with the way the team acts, that like they don't have that fire, the passion. They don't care. Like it's not that. They just are more reserved with it. I love that. Like that's what I want. That's what I want for my closer, because I want my closer to have a screw loose a little bit. Like you have to be a little bit of a psycho to get those last 3 outs. But for the team, like I imagine the rest of the team felt that way too. And he showed that. Like that is what we wanted to see forever from this team. Just show that fire and that passion every now and then. Like it doesn't have to be all the time. Doesn't have to be gregarious with it. But just in those moments, give us that. And he did. And I give him credit for that. Now, and the press release that Royals.tv put out was hysterical earlier. Like, yeah, he said it right. Yeah, that's the way it is. One more stat, and then we'll get out of here. This and Randy Geselari from the podcast with Seren.
Kaufman Corner.
I can't remember. Kaufman Corner. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna toast game this stat as well, an additional one. The Royals tonight were the first team, or on Saturday were the first team in Major League history to walk 0 times, strike out 17 or more times, not hit a home run and win a game. Wow! What a stat!
I mean, it is.
I love obscure multi-qualifier stats,
right?
And that certainly qualifies as one of them. But that was awesome. And I love that. And again, that's a game that probably the Royals lose in previous years. And again, find a way to win. May not be maybe the ugliest win of all time, but who cares? Like they don't ask how, they just ask how many wins you're going to get at the end of the year. And if that's the win that gets them in the playoffs, we'll look back. People look back at the 2024 season. The reason they made the playoffs is they came back down from 8-0 against Seattle and walked them off.
Right.
In 2024.
Right.
I mean, these are the types of wins that can help swing things and swing momentum, and they're clearly playing with a lot of confidence right now. So now they come back home. You got a 4-gamer against the Guardians and 3 games against Detroit, who are at the top of this division right now. Chance to continue to add to this momentum and give yourself an opportunity in this division.
Yeah, I mean, in 2024, you're right. Like, I think the Mariners series was kind of the turning point for this group, right? It kind of felt like, oh wow, like this is not just like they got up to a nice start because they crushed on the White Sox. You know, it's like it kind of felt like, okay, maybe this team is pretty good. Maybe this team has that moxie. Maybe this can be the similar thing because, like you said, you have those kind of horrendous strikeout numbers. That I mean, Royals were total luck merchants, but they won. And that takes something, and that takes whether it's luck, whether it's just gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it. It's a turning point. At least it should be a turning point, or you hope it's a turning point. So it's something to pay attention to because this is not going to be an easy homestand. I mean, the Guardians and Tigers had their number on the road. Hopefully, the Royals can get some payback at Kauffman Stadium this week.
Yeah, they'll need it. They say no off day this week. You're playing 7 consecutive against your division rivals.
Yeah.
You got some probables here. We've gone way long, but this was such an awesome series. We needed to do a full series breakdown and not just a one-game post-game show, especially considering how often we come on here and we're talking after a loss. We're not doing that this time.
No.
Michael Walker against Tanner Bybee on Monday. That's a 6:40 start. I think they're all 6:40 except for Thursday, which is a getaway day. It'll be Gavin Williams against Noah Cameron, bounce back spot for Noah Cameron on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got Joey Cantillo against Cole Reagan's lefty spot. And then Thursday, I believe that'll be Lugo again in that game against Slade Ciccone, who has, I believe, the highest qualified ERA in the league. So I imagine that game he's going to go 7 innings of 1-run ball for absolutely no reason. That's just the way that this game goes.
Yeah. Baseball can be cruel sometimes. It can be cruel.
An absolutely cruel sport, and that's why you play 162 of them, and that's why we love it for some crazy reason. For Kevin O'Brien, I'm Joel Penfield. This has been fantastic. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Sunday. We will talk later this week with a regular One Royal Way and a post-game show after the matinee on Thursday. Take care, everybody.